Building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is the Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Welcome, Giant Builders. I have a special guest here today. This is Dr. Worley Diaz, and she is actually my weight doctor. She helped me get back into fit. I really not had a weight problem until I hit menopause. And
then, so many of us.
Yeah. And then I couldn't get it off. And I actually remember when I thought, I've got to go see a doctor. I was getting out of the pool and walking up towards the house, and I saw my reflection in the back window. I was like, how did I get
How did
this
happen?
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think I called you the next day. I said, can you help me with this?
Well, it's very frequent that it's that one bad mirror shot or the one bad photo. I can't tell you how many times it's that one photo. And you go, I look like that? And that's what gets the impetus to go do something about it.
Yeah. And you're helping my mom, and I think episode 5 will be sharing my story about COVID, but my mother was in a dire situation where she needed to lose a lot of weight, and she so far has lost about 60 pounds, and she brags about you all the time. She loves you dearly.
I love her too. And that is the other reason that we really have to look at this stuff about weight is health. You know, we talk about, the appearance and all that kind of stuff, but the weight, associated with Alzheimer's, diabetes, high blood pressure, almost every system is involved. And it's especially that central stuff, which is what comes after menopause and later in life for both sexes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oops. And we're not, this episode's not about body shaming or anything like that. This is all about the health, the healthiness of being in a healthy weight range.
Agreed.
So tell us how you work through your program.
All right. Well, first of all, since I am an MD, we have to do labs and EKG to make sure that we have a baseline. It doesn't mean if you have abnormal labs you can't start. It just means we want to track your cholesterol, your renal function, your kidney function, how your heart's working, your electrolytes, everything to make sure that you either stay as great as you are or we fix some things, which is really gratifying for me. And once we get all that data, then we have patients come in and we spend just a little session getting to know each other, and I do a body composition analysis. And what that is just 4 points of contact, feet and your hands, and it's called bioimpedance, which means it just puts the teeniest, tiniest charge through your body, and then everything absorbs things differently. So fat absorbed differently than muscle, different than bone, etc., etc. And so we have a full printout of how much body fat you have, how much muscle you have, and what your metabolic rate is, so we can follow that the whole time. Then after that appointment, if you decide to come and become part of the program, then we do a very comprehensive 2-hour appointment. There's a lot of information, but we go over sleeping habits, eating habits, drinking, and other smoking habits, all of these kind of things to try to get I need to get a picture of your life. Are you still working from home? Are you back at work? Does your spouse work? Do you not have a spouse? Kids? Is everybody getting along? It's a very complicated situation. So that's why it's so long. And then after I've got a good handle on all of that, we go through what the program is about. I do a moderately low carbohydrate with a moderately high protein. Now, for those who like the numbers, that means protein over 80 grams a day, which is not a stress on your kidneys as long as you have normal kidney function, and less than 50 grams of carbohydrates a day. And that's because, if you do an Atkins or, super low carb, you eat less than 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. I can't sustain that. And so I don't want to ask anybody to do something that I can't do. And I can't keep it, and then once you mess it up, then you give and, spiral downwards. So moderate carbohydrates, moderately high protein. We don't do any real talk about exercise at the beginning. Losing weight is about the food. And then after you get into a rhythm with the food, then we start talking about what kind of exercise you want to do and how it fits in your life. I can't make you go someplace and, you know, you don't like that. So you don't have to go anywhere. We can get it all done at home if you want to. Then the way I start with the food is I like to start, because I've tried many ways now, that I like to start with meal replacements at the beginning. Shakes, bars, puddings. We have so many different kinds of things that you can find something that you like, but we still eat. You still have a protein and a couple of veggies a day, and we have real food snacks, eggs and meat and cheese, and some free foods, pickles and olives and bouillon and jello. So it's a two-pronged program. With those meal replacements, I'm keeping your calorie intake down, but I'm also keeping your carbohydrates moderately low. And those two together just make it very fast for some people and consistent for others.
Of course, everybody's journey is a different time frame depending on how their body responds.
The answer to that is an important one, because people want to know all the time, when can I have this off? When can I have this weight off? When, you know, the average for this kind of a program is 3 pounds a week for women. Now that's average. So there might be a big 7-pound week, and then there might be a 2-pound week, and a 1-pound week, and it varies like that. And the average for men is 5 pounds a week. Our biggest loser, female, was 14 pounds in 1 week.
Wow, that's amazing.
She had a lot of weight to lose, so it comes off a lot faster. And our biggest loser for a man was 18.
Wow.
He was also had to lose a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
He actually lost 192 pounds in 1 year. He said he couldn't get down on the floor and play with his kids, and at the end he was running 5 miles a day and looked so much younger. And he was young too, but so and the lady who lost 14 pounds was doing it because she needed knee surgery, and her surgeon wouldn't do it until she lost some weight. So she lost 160 pounds in a year, and then got one knee done, and then 8 weeks later got her other knee done.
Well, there you go.
And she came in here all crunched over and hobbling with her walker, and she left just standing upright and walking without anything.
Yeah.
It was great.
And you know, and I think that's one of the things that, especially for me, is that you change your health so much. You know, like for my mom, after all that she's been through, you know, she was using a walker. And,
right. Oh yeah.
And now
already she's down. She says around the house she doesn't walk even with the cane.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, it's a point of that you get around more. Different physical things happen. You've shared with me before that people get off of medications.
Yeah. You know, I start decreasing high blood pressure medicines after about 20 pounds and see how they do. Diabetic medications, you know, I work in coordination with the endocrinologist. You know, I don't go in and just change everything without coordinating. Triglycerides, people who have high triglycerides, they get fixed very fast. They respond quickly, and my neighbor came, lost 30 pounds. His triglycerides were, I think, 411, 4 something, and when he left, 12 weeks later, they were 110.
Oh my goodness, that's such
So
a
I mean, that's pretty darn high to normal. The one thing that people ask a lot is about insurance, and we don't take insurance. We can't, they won't pay us. Now, my husband's a bariatric surgeon. They'll pay him, but they won't pay medical weight loss. It's just, I think they think that we're not doing real medicine or something. It's some magic pill, and it is not.
Yeah.
I guess that's the next thing I should talk about then is medication. I do use 2 different appetite suppressants in my practice. There are others out there, but there are just too many side effects, and I want us to own doing this and not to use the medicine as a crutch, just use it as a tool. And I use Contrave, which is a newer medicine, probably the past 12 years, 10 years. And then I use Adipex or Phentermine, which is just an appetite suppressant. And been around for probably at least 50 years. And if you drink a cup of coffee, you can take Phentermine. I do want to say another thing about the genre, the atmosphere of the practice. Is, I've struggled with my weight. I'm still struggling with my weight. I get thinking I'm good, and then I start having dietary indiscretions. We do not call them cheats. They're dietary indiscretions. And so, I know what it's like to go up and down and want to do it, but then you just don't do it. And then you want to do it, and it comes off, and then you're so proud, and, well, because we're all human. So we try to make this as fun and lighthearted as possible. We still have to do the real medicine, really monitor your health and how things are going, and be careful with all of that. But we try to just make it light and happy and open and receptive. And there is, you said earlier, there is no shaming here of anything. People come in there, they're all sad that they didn't lose as much as they wanted. I'm like, did you lose? Yeah. We're happy. That's a success. Every pound is a success story.
Right.
And they're afraid that I'm going to yell at them or something. I'm like, I'm not yelling at you. Come on. I know. I yell at myself more than anybody else needs to yell at me. So you're probably beating up on yourself enough. You don't need me to add to that.
Yeah. Well, and I think too that what you brought into my life is that it's a lifestyle now.
Yep.
I understand which foods are not going to be good for me, or which, and if I cheat and have that.
Oh, you used the bad word.
Oh.
If you have a dietary indiscretion.
If I have a dietary indiscretion, then I know what I need to do and what I need not to do for the next day.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what most people that really, I'm going to say finish the program, but keep in contact, keep follow-ups and stuff like that. That is what they say, is that it is life-changing, in that even the weight can be life-changing to get your knees done and all, those kinds of things. But just the fact of picking out foods, and I have people bring in their favorite restaurant recipes, or we look them up together online, and they tell me what they would pick, and I go, nope, that's not what I would pick. And they're like, really? But that has more cheese in it. I go, cheese is protein and fat. No, I don't have a pound of it, but put some cheese on your salad if you want a little cheese. That adds what you need. Yeah. Got to make it different for everybody.
Right. Okay, so big question now.
Oh my.
All right, so we're coming to like my most favorite and least favorite time of the year. Okay, we're hitting that last 6 weeks, that time between Thanksgiving and New Year's, when everybody brings out their favorite desserts, their most fattening,
of course,
corn casserole.
Okay, yes.
Help me get through the end of the year.
I used to think starting a weight loss program at this time of year was the worst thing I could do for patients. It's the best thing, because you're being helped and advised along the way what to eat. So I happen to write down a few of my recommendations.
Great.
All right, when you're going to go to like a sit-down dinner, first of all, you have to have a plan. If you're cooking, it's a lot easier. But if other people are bringing things, or you're going to somebody else's house, try to find out what the menu is and have a plan. Say, all right, I'm not going to have any desserts. I'm not going to have any desserts. Or, man, she makes that great corn pudding or whatever it is. And, okay, I'm going to have, and then you fill in the blank, X amount. I'm going to have a half cup, a teaspoon, what is it? Or I can live without corn pudding. Another year will come and I can have it, another year. So that's the first thing, is just to have a plan. And the other thing that you kind of alluded to is this becomes a time of the year when gluttony is approved of and accepted. And then you feel terrible and guilty and physically uncomfortable. And so we've got to get that out of our brains. This is a time to be with people and loved ones and enjoy whatever holidays you're doing with them. And it's not about celebrating the food. That's secondary. And so once, and I tell everybody, I said, you have a lot easier time talking to Aunt Alice if your mouth isn't full of food. So make the focus on the people and have a plan about what you are going to eat. And when you sit down at that table, the first thing you do is the ham, turkey, chicken, fish, whatever it is, eat that first, because we need protein. We don't need carbohydrates. We like carbohydrates for some energy and for that warm tummy feeling and maybe a little carbohydrate buzz there for a little while, but we don't need them. We need the fiber, but we don't need the vegetable itself. So eat the protein first, and then you're also not so hungry. And so you can decide, I was going to eat a cup of this, but I think I can do with 2 tablespoons. That kind of thing. So and then the other thing that's important, not just for the holidays, but all year round, is water intake. You need to have at least 64 ounces of water a day. And before you go to any meal or anybody's house, have that bottle of water in the car or on the countertop or something so that you can be well hydrated. That fills your stomach up. Dilutes down the acid in there so you're not getting all those rumblies. And you have better decision making when you sit down at the table. So drink water, focus on the people, eat the protein first, watch the alcohol, a lot of calories, and then it impairs your judgment. And you're like, I'm not eating any dessert, and then you have a couple glasses of wine, which I would not recommend, but you drink something, and then all of a sudden, I'll just have one pizza pie. That one looks good too, and it just, so
now
really.
I've got a sample plate.
Right, exactly. So, obviously not drinking at all is better because it saves calories and preserves your judgment. But if you're going to drink, I prefer you not drink wine and beer. I prefer that you have a cocktail with some kind of hard liquor, I don't know what you call those, and a 0-calorie mixer. And that way you can be part of everything and nobody's giving you grief and because the hard liquor doesn't have any carbohydrates in it. It's got the calories, but not the carbohydrates. Okay, this is a funny one. I put on here geography, but what that really means is if there's a buffet, I say these are holiday tips, but this is any occasion. You're going to a wedding, a graduation party, whatever, don't stand next to the buffet. Because it might be a good thing that you're grabbing, but eating the whole veggie plate is not what you should be doing. It seems like a good choice, but then its serving size is part of this decision-making process as well. And then if it's catered hors d'oeuvres, don't stand next to the kitchen door. There's always going to be a full plate coming out right in front of you and all the smells and stuff. So once again, at the buffet, fill up your plate, go away, and talk to people and be part of the event. Oh, and the other thing, I think this is becoming more and more important, the more and more people I talk to, is the stress of the extended family or friends or, this is the only time of year you get together and, so don't let that make you eat. You don't like somebody say hello and be polite and then move away instead of going, I'm just gonna, have all this stuff and I'll show them and I don't know all this stuff. But the stress of holiday get-togethers can be very hard for some people, and so just you're in control of the fuel going in. So be in control.
Well, thank you, Dr. Worley Diaz, for such great information. If you would like to contact Dr. Worley Diaz, her practice is called Medical Obesity Management of Indiana, leveling called MOMI, M-O-M-I. Her website is mommyweightloss.com, and you can contact her at 317-564-4464. Thank you again, and looking forward to see you at the next episode. Bye, Giant Builders.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.